Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis, with another nicely edited and cut video from Stubezini. Amazing. He actually cut together my 3 Buffalo games that were really strong. Now, some of you may wonder, why the hell is this individual playing Tier 9 random tech tree ship? Well, I never played Buffalo after they buffed it. They buffed it multiple times. I never regrinded it, I think, either. On like a second account or something. So for some reason I just randomly whooped my Halsey on it, whoop-de-doop-de, and played it. They buffed the reload. I think originally it had 12 or 12.5 second reload. Now it has 10-second base reload, so 8.8 with reload mod. Obviously same base range as Des Moines. The gun angles are either improved or they were always that good, because the gun angles are really strong, specifically kited. And yeah, well, what can I say about Buffalo? I was, hilariously surprised as to how much of a clapper this boat is now. Insane damage output. Obviously 27mm coating, but I mean, you get 54k HP and heals. But like, these days, I mean, there's not too much difference to Des Moines in tier 10. Buffalo in tier 9 is kind of like, yeah, well, a lot of BBs overmatch you for free. Obviously, the games here, it's going to be 3 really high damage and kill games. Obviously, very lucky here and there with the matchmaking. Like, I mean, it's a tier 9, so occasionally you get into the tier 8-9 focused matchmaking. Sometimes you even get the lucky draw of a tier 7 game where you are a murderous, disgusting obliterate machine. It's really unbalanced, to be fair, in this state against tier 7s and 8s. Specifically if they don't overmatch you, and also like tier 7 and 8 cruisers that don't have heals, because you like retain Des Moines shells. I mean, I don't know if it's exactly the same shells, but the guns and the shells, they do kind of behave exactly like Des Moines does. It's very similar. So the AP has improved pen angles. Good alpha, HE obviously. We have 12 guns with really good reload, also high damage output. Therefore, against tier 7 and 8, probably too strong. But yeah, going to the tier balancing that they have at the moment and how they cornered themselves quite a lot during the video. It's going to be a longer one, to cut together a lot of spots or parts of the game. But yeah, I'm really surprised that they buff it randomly, because it's a tech tree ship. Doesn't really like ring a bell. Why would they buff let's say non-tier 10 tech trees? Normally they just want to have the tier 10s very strong, or buff the tier 10s so people grind them or use their free XP up for them, grind through the line so they use their credits. Also like premium ships are getting buffed more than like tech trees, I feel. And yeah, then magically they keep buffing Buffalo into this state. Doesn't really make that much sense, but hey, I mean, maybe some of you go out after watching the video and playing Buffalo randomly. Obviously, it's a bit resource intensive if you move your commander on there, because you kind of want to have Halsey. I will proc Confederate in a lot of these games, and the DPM will become quite obscene for a tier 9 cruiser. But yeah, no armor. I mean, here, that's a Monmouth. It's designed to cuck other cruisers, and specifically light cruisers, so I was angled up too much. He fists me. Then again, I can also fist him in return. There will be obviously a lot of paid actors in all those battles. Cruisers that turn flat, where you can see how much the AP actually punishes people. I mean, look, even the Monmouth, I can easily punish him. AP is really just like Des Moines. Care to notice, or like, please notice that in all 3 games, I'm just running the Halsey spec that I currently move from captain to captain, because I can't be bothered to respec him. So it's a basic cruiser spec, all the basic skills that I always use, and then the second 4-pointer, so like obviously I have concealment, the second 4-pointer isn't top grade, so I'm lacking like 8% reload or 8% DPM all the time in all those games, and I still manage to get that much damage. Instead, I'm running AA skill. I just move AA skill from, I started with Salem, now I moved it to Des Moines, Puerto, Buffalo now. I don't really care, 8% DPM or not, whatever. Also like dropping maybe survivability expert and tertiaries for like top grade outnumbered and concealment is also a viable spec. whatever. A skill is also kind of funny. If there's airstrike ships and carriers, you do get some value because you are a utility platform, and obviously you get DCP and heal off cooldown faster, so your own survivability gets increased too. And yeah, I just can't be bothered to respec. I think it's also quite fun because like planes are the most annoying part of the game, obviously. So having faster reload is obviously amazing on the consumables. At least gives you a bit of a feeling that you get something out of being struck or dropped by airstrikes. Then again, funny enough, these games are only good because I think all 3 games don't have a carrier. I mean, it's very important for certain ships to not have a carrier. Or let's say it's way more likely that without a carrier, you will have better games. I mean, it's just surface ship versus surface ship combat in these games. The reason why we play this game. Also, obviously, for experienced players or even for, let's say, less experienced players, it's way easier to predict engagements and predict the entire game or what people will do if there is no carrier, because there is no random spotting factor, no random additional crossfire factor at any moment in time. I mean, yeah, just flawed carrier gameplay. Without it, you just have a easier time actually playing through the game, picking your fights, using islands. Obviously, carriers deter camping on islands. Haha, funny. Which is funny for something like a buffalo, since I don't have armor. Can have to use islands in a lot of cases, and then when the carrier comes in and spots me behind it, I mean, the island is the reason I can go dark and save some HP and trade damage back, and then the carrier shits all over it. Whatever. On the topic of no armor, classic tier 9 cruiser, bullshit. Tier 9 cruisers are basically all coded, unless like you have some sort of heavier cruiser, like Alaska, Carnot, I don't know, heavier cruisers, battle cruisers. All the cruisers are coded in 27 or less armor. That's where they anchored that tier. Obviously, if you get up tiered a lot, that's the problem with tier 9. You will get a lot of tier 10, 11 matches, and you're a filler. Everything overmatches you, basically. It's very rare that there's ships that, or battleships specifically, that don't overmatch you. So you're always forced to trade HP into the enemy if you have a head-on fight, especially BBs. You're always forced to trade HP, and you're also rolling the dice a lot on the volleys. As in Nozin, you will see it later, there's some moments where even 380s overmatch, or like I'm slightly misangling and then they immediately punch through my ass. The Cit can be slightly troll, but Buffalo does have a fairly easy to hit and exposed citadel. So yeah, you can't even go for like troll flat broadsides or so. Sometimes you get away with it. I mean, that happens with like any cruiser at this point. But you shouldn't bank on it. So like you angle, but then you always take damage angle because you get overmatched. So you always have to trade HP. And yeah, why talk about it again? I mean, it's weird because I'm surprised that they buff Buffalo, but I'm not surprised in what way they buff it. It's DPM again, and it's always going to be DPM apparently, or gimmick. It's never going to be armor. I mean, I don't expect them to randomly change an armor scheme of a tier 9 cruiser that it was already like pretty good because it brought utility, which is decently rare on tier 9. Like good utility. This one here brings really good utility. For example, here at Tulsa, I could also talk about Tulsa a bit because it's the direct direct comparable ship. It's like also the tier 9 premium version cruiser, normal cruiser, like heavier cruiser. Of the US Navy, basically running the same guns as Des Moines, like straight up the same guns. I don't know if it's exactly the same shell and turrets or like turrets it's not, but like I don't know if it's the exact same shell on Buffalo than on Des Moines. Tulsa, for example, weaker utility, also weaker DPM, less base range. I played Tulsa right after. I personally feel like with the buffs on Buffalo, there's really just like no reason you should ever buy or play a Tulsa. I really don't see the point. It has better concealment, sure, but therefore you lose radar range, which is pretty bad because 10 km. 10 km is really good, but already lacks obviously the range of the 12s. So like having the 10 is better than what Tulsa has, and the concealment is kind of whatever. The issue is, with no armor, as said, like 27 is not really armor, and also vulnerable citadel on both cruises. You kind of have to use islands anyways, but if you use an island properly, you basically get to use your DPM for free in most scenarios. Therefore, I'd just rather have a Buffalo that has more DPM and just overall feels better. I mean, the dispersion buff on Tulsa wasn't enough. Like, I think they just tried to... I mean, it's kind of a DPM buff too, to buff the dispersion, by the way, because you just increase the hitting DPM, because you hit your shells more often. I don't think it's enough. It doesn't really pack the punch that Buffalo does. The only upside, I guess, on Tulsa is that you can move Halsey on it for free. Like, you can always play it whenever. The downside is obviously you have to kind of run range mod on it, because it has 14.8, 14.9 base range, which I don't fucking get, while it has no armor and, like, yeah, lackluster DPM in my opinion. Kind of weird. But yeah, going back to the idea, like, they're buffing DPM again. I mean, you can see it on the tier 10 cruiser designs they have, or the buffs. It's always going to be DPM. They give them smokes, they keep them with no armor. So, like, they're super uninteractive to fight. Or they're like a turbo glass cannon these days, the cruisers. They really just don't do cruiser with armor anymore. Even on Buffalo, like, why don't you keep it on 12 seconds base reload so it's not a fucking one-shot on DD and radar machine? It doesn't insta-grief flat broadsides. It doesn't farm down battleships from islands immediately. It has, like, longer reload, but in return, I actually get to tank some BB volleys, maybe. Maybe give it some 30 mil armor. I mean, I'm also vouching for Des Moines and Salem getting a bit better armor, maybe 32. So the 32 overmatchers are suddenly in a really good state again, and the 30 overmatches can go suck a dick. I'm not a big fan of this glass cannon type cruiser design, unless it's something like a Colbert, where you have really just like no armor, but you get good maneuverability, but also shit arcs, very limited range or effective range farming. So you really have to play this, John the Ruthless type close range style, use islands properly, be kind of a zoomer, and like be a little bit autistic too, like me or John, a little bit of autistic, spamming buttons on keyboard and mouse, very funny, we like it. I get that design. I, for example, don't get Smolly. Like, it's similar, it's easier to farm from range with Smolly. It still retains insane DPM, but it gets the dumb smoke over Colbert. So, like, that's a shit design. So, like, why increase DPM now on all these cruisers? I don't get it. I just really don't get it. Because I'm still a clickable piece of shit against tier 10 BBs. And they also, if they would spec their ships finally right, in the proper way, with a tank spec, improved repair party readiness, always fire prevention, obviously heal and concealment skills on 4 points. It doesn't matter if I get a damage buff on Buffalo. I still take ages to kill a properly played BB and properly spec BB. Like, I mean, it's not my fault for that I make cruisers look quite strong with the DPM. If the enemy battleships that I play against are just moronic non-fire prevention uses and stuff, whatever. Here you can, by the way, also see, like, since a while I already have my Confed proc. This is going to be the highest damage game of them. I have a lot of damage. I think 360 something. Maybe potentially even the highest damage game in Buffalo. I don't know if someone smoke botted it on some server or had like an AFK game. There's like some disconnect games, right, where people can just farm for free. It can always happen. But yeah, I think this is some of the highest I've ever seen. Obviously a bit unfair now, because I started really playing it a bit after they buffed it to this degree now. And I mean, you can see the reload. It's actually quite insane. Also, I said, like, keep in mind I'm lacking top grade gunner in all those games. And still there's so much damage output. Yeah, really just amazing cruiser. Really fucking strong. Yeah, going back to the armor and the buffing again with the DPM. It's like, it's a utility cruiser, right? Utility cruisers have to be very close range to get their utility in the game. That's their job. Having them be a DPM machine, and to be fair, at this point you could probably drop the range, the radar and go spotter plane, and you would probably farm more average, because you can suddenly kite as much as you want from longer ranges, and you can also lob over islands more from rocks, and then you just go for a full damage build, heavy HE, top grade and stuff. And then you maybe even run a spotter plane, and then it would probably have higher payoff in terms of stats and damage output. Maybe not kills, because you like the radar to actually finish DDs or smoke cruisers. But yeah, I don't get the point of this damage stuff. I want to keep my utility afloat more. I mean, personally, I don't care. I played the game or spammed the game long enough that I have like a lot of, let's say, experience and stuff. I can still make, like, against let's say worse players and randoms, I can still make Buffalo or Des Moines work. But I mean, I'm thinking about the let's say more casual or average players, or like back when I wasn't that good. Like, I would have appreciated a bit more armor on my utility cruisers, because then I could have just played close range to support my team more. That would have been amazing. And that is also the point of the ships. Farming damage with them, sure, but that's second, right? That's the second idea you bring. Well, we're not gonna see it from Wargaming. They want the battleships to be freely clicking them, so therefore, I don't know, I can keep making 50 videos about the cruiser designs these days. Shit like Svea or Cerberus, like, I don't know, whatever. You can see here a skill active. You will also see in this game. The encounter gives me flat broadside. Obviously, kind of like Des Moines, you can lob islands, very nice. Can get some nice citadels. You really just smash flat broadside exposed citadel cruisers at these ranges. Also later on I will basically one-shot the Utrecht. Utrecht suffers pretty hard against Des Moines, Buffalo, even Baltimore type AP. The hull is the citadel is very vulnerable to it because, yeah, for some reason you just citadel it very easy. There's not that much trolling going on with overpens like on Smolly or something. Kind of acting more like a Colbert, and easier to hit Colbert because they all run airstrike mod like I do. So you gotta be a bit more careful because you just can't use your propulsion that easy. But yeah, you will also see, like, you can just kite in this thing really well. The kite angles are amazing. I fuck it up here. I over-angle, or angle up way too much to the Jean Bart, and he will get an easy shot into my ass. Yeah, it is very vulnerable in that regard. It's not going to be this one. It's going to be the next one. I'm getting a bit too greedy, too cheesy. Don't really mind my angling, and then even a 380 BB. It's kind of like right behind the back turrets. The ship is fairly long. You can easily penetrate. It can happen. Otherwise, if you're kited, you have a lot of DPM. You also have a decent amount of HP and heal as that. You can stay afloat quite a while, but here and there you also get, I mean, obviously 30 overmatch obliterates, but also 406s, so 27 overmatch obliterates as well. You just get random citadel through the ass quite a lot. It happens. It's kind of the same as Des Moines and Salem. Playing it ass in and kite is always way riskier than nose in. You make yourself be able to dodge the shells easier or a bit more, especially with ledge mod Des Moines. Buffalo and Salem don't really have that, so a bit harder. But in return, your ass is way weaker than your nose, even if the enemy overmatches you on both. The ass is just weaker. It's a larger target. You get citadeled way more. It's the same for Buffalo. So you gotta be a bit careful there. Also, you have to remember this ship actually has shell catchers on the ass. Like you have this stepped thing on the ass that catches a lot of AP. Here you will see, like, it's not a non-prop mod Utrecht with airstrike, and then he just pulls out flat, and before he moves I get 2 volleys out, and the AP is just amazing. Obviously you just obliterate the thing in 2 shots. Very nice. So yeah, really strong cruiser. Because of the damage output now and the HP and utility you have, it's actually more close to tier 10 in my opinion than to tier 8. Like, that's a really, really strong one. I also, because of the buffs in Buffalo, I don't really see like, that's why it's so weird, right? They don't buff other tier 9 cruisers, Electric cruisers. They don't buff other general tier 9 cruisers. This ship just makes so many cruisers on tier 9 now fully redundant. Like, why would you ever play a Saint Louis? Why would you ever play an Ibuki, a Takeshi's Castle? What else is there? A Roan. Oh my god, a Roan, yeah. Why would you ever play that? You have 32 mil pen, or 34, it's actually, but like, you pen 32 mil with these guns, you have insane DPM. Your AP is way, way better than all the other cruisers, like Saint Louis, Ibuki, Roan, stuff like that. Your AP has way better performance with the improved penetration angles, and it's a very heavy shell, I think, so it also has, I think, slightly more pen, or it's definitely enough pen to punch broadside battleships. Close range, you can even citadel certain BBs, and also, like, you punch through all the cruisers. So what is this, man? Like, I get utility and I get better DPM and I get more HP, or the same HP as the others, while I retain the heal. What's the point? I mean, my concealment is also not that bad. I mean, it's 10-7, but that's actually better than Des Moines, funnily enough. Des Moines has 10-8. I really don't get it. Why would you ever play the other cruisers? It doesn't make sense. The armor is also slightly better than a lot of tier 9 cruisers still retain. Like, I think Ibuki, 25 nose ass. I think also like Donskoy, 25 side, but 30 deck, or 27 deck, 25 side, something like that. I mean, it gets an icebreaker, but it's also fucky. And also, like, what's the point of playing Donskoy at this point? You get the 12 game radar, but you get way worse concealment, and your DPM sucks cock. I mean, Donskoy has 180 mil guns, something like that, so it gets the light cruiser lighter cruiser penetration, where it's 30 mil. You pen other cruisers, but you don't pen BBs. and you have longer reload. So like, like I'm not penning as much. My AP is worse. Why am I playing Donskoy? Like, sorry, but like, why am I playing these cruisers at this point? Like, Buffalo is just far superior. By the way, quick note, there is a Cyclone going on. Stube is just recording it out of the replay, and I think he has mods. Maybe even a mod that disables the Cyclone view. That's why I'm not lit shooting, and that's why my radar, like I radared the YY, I see him, and he's between 8 and 10 kilometers, so I can shoot him without being lit. Don't ask me why this don't ask me why this mechanic is in the game. I mean, for cruises itself, it's kind of fine because BBs can become completely obnoxious in Cyclones because an 8 kilometer, sub 8 kilometer fight against most BBs and cruisers is just fucked. So having that is pretty nice on radar cruisers. Then again, it completely shits on other cruisers and specifically also DDs. Like against a 12 km radar in a Cyclone, like what the fuck are you supposed to do? You can't trace his maneuver, and basically he has a 4 kilometer stealth radar. Like he could sit at 8.1 or 2 kilometers, not spotted, randomly radar you, and then shoot you the entire time without being lit. I don't know, man. It's just fucking destroyers. While BBs, I mean, I guess it's designed to counter other cruisers and BBs. I don't think that is intended that destroyers have to suffer so much into radar cars. But yeah, it's a Cyclone going on at the moment. That's also why I will turn flat later on, while there's BBs towards that direction that are lit on the minimap. Here you can also, by the way, see like pushing into 406 BBs, even if it's a tier 8 one, you will trade a lot of HP. But in return, if you don't die to the volleys instant, you have so much DPM now. Also Halsey proc again here. Still lacking top grade, sadly, but yeah, you have so much DPM even without top grade and Halsey proc, but Halsey proc, that you just shred through the BBs if you get it. It's always like this head-on trade where you know you lose HP. If the RNG fucks you over, you basically die to one shot or the second, but at least you get a lot of DPM in return. For example, that's also different with stuff like Donskoy, Ibuki. They don't get a lot of DPM to be shooting, or Takeshi's Castle, to be shooting in between shots. So like you completely depend on your torps, and then I mean, okay, Donskoy has like 5 torps per side. You gotta be real close. Try to get that close first if you get fully overmatched. Then Takeshi's Castle and Ibuki, same thing. I have to turn flat in Ibuki. Takeshi's Castle has dogshit torpedo concealment. Hitting the torps is always like, because good players will most likely avoid them or not eat too many. So you have to be super close to ensure it. Getting close is a difficulty because you're getting overmatched. So at that point, just fuck the torps. Give me that ship. Give me that DPM. Give me those shells and the penetration. And it's like a more calculated engagement because I know what kind of DPM I can pull on them, and then I don't have to rely on random ass wicked torps. But yeah, really like sum it up. Other tactical cruisers are kind of looking real wonky now with this ship around. I really didn't know it's that strong. I really didn't. And also like stuff like Tulsa or some premium ships you can buy on tier 9 premium cruisers. Just like don't buy it. Well, most people probably have, if you whale for the rare ships, you probably have them, all those ships anyways, through Christmas crates and stuff. But don't even play them. Like it's just frustrating. If you have the resources, just pull yourself a Buffalo. And that's, I mean, if I would think about it, out of the like say normal sized cruisers, normal gun cruisers like 203 and below, it's the best probably on tier 9 now. It's the best for randoms. Like you do the most, you have the highest game impact, you have the highest DPM, or like the most effective DPM, I would say, because of the guns. And not the highest DPM. There's obviously like Seattle has higher DPM on paper, but Seattle is also a piece of shit. Gun angles on Seattle are worse, penetration on Seattle is worse, hull on Seattle, like armor is worse. Radar is worse, radar range is worse, so like the only thing is maybe a bit better concealment, but like yeah, there's very little reason to play certain other boats. I mean, look at this AP DPM I just pulled and the HE DPM. Another great game, lots of sits, shots on cruisers, 275 only, the other one was 360. Just, yeah, it's a DPM machine, and I really like it. Funnily enough, also, like, Incheon is similar to it, right? So, like, the playstyle is kind of similar. The difference is Incheon is more farm-focused with the smoke and no hydro, no radar, whereas this year is more utility-focused and island-focused, but with with radar and hydro. So it's kind of similar in angling, though, and what islands you can use. Just the open water is a bit worse. I mean, the Incheon is a copy-pasted Buffalo. I think just better gun angles and, I know, probably more DPM. I would have to look at that, because it's like, I mean, you're lacking 4 guns, but you have way faster reload. So I guess, yeah, there should be more DPM on Incheon. Yeah, anyways, next game. Now this one here, for example, Open Water Kite. As I said, like pretty lucky with the matchmakings in the first and the last game. Non-overmatch BBs on my flank. First game was a lot of 380s. This year is also like Alaska doesn't overmatch. Just have to be careful with the improved pen angle. But he's gonna be stuck in the border for the rest of the game, shooting me with HE or some shit. Very wicked player. But like a buff Pommern, for example, doesn't overmatch me. So yeah, that's also what I wanted to get to. The +2, -2 matchmaking and the way that they position cruiser armor and cruiser penetration as well. Like kind of the IFHE change made cruisers kind of awkward at this point and also fucked around with the armor plates a lot. Like you can't really give a lot of cruisers 32mm or more, for example, because a lot of light cruisers, they only pen 30 or less now. And IFHE isn't really like an option anymore because the only reason you still have a chance against most BBs is because you can burn them down over time. Like fires are a main source against battleships because you don't penetrate a lot of platings on modern or like newer BBs. They all get higher platings. Like they basically dropped the idea of 32mm platings for some reason, I guess. So like even if you run IFHE, you barely pen anything, and while you run IFHE, you don't even get the fire. So that's fucked. And also because of the +2, -2, you can't, like, if I get 30mm armor on this one now, even if they reduce the reload, nothing on tier 7 and 8 is going to, even on tier 9, barely anything can harm me, like, if I angle properly. So cruisers wouldn't pen me anymore, tier 7s would be, for example, fully fucked, and lots of BBs wouldn't. So, like, I don't know, it's kind of rough what they did, the matchmakings in general. Like if I'm allowed to play against tier 7s in a tier 9, and then they have to also balance the ship around that possibility, because if you bring something like a Los Andes that is completely over the top broken, it's straight up was basically a tier 10, you could fight tier 10s and 11s unironically and win 1v1s most of the time and roll through entire flanks with that ship. It didn't have a citadel, like even less than Liptard. So if you put that against tier 7s and 8s, yeah, well, all my days, like you're just a monster. Nothing can really harm you, and the fights are completely unfair. So that's kind of the same they did with Buffalo now, similar. Like they put so much DPM on it, and my 27mm is actually quite effective against tier 7 and 8. More effective at least. Sure, there's like Nagato and Colorado, but I mean, I pen them everywhere. They have way less HP. Yeah, I don't know. How about we would just go for +1, -1 matchmaking, start giving cruisers a bit more armor platings, change maybe the IFHE again, or penetration on other cruisers like the HE pen, and yeah, well, just balance out the game a bit more, right? Because I don't really enjoy to play either a slot machine against tier 10 and 11, where if I get that matchmaking, I also do focus more on my survival while I'm focusing more on objective plays. Like I had some tier 11, tier 10 games. I focus more on like staying afloat to basically use my utility and just wait for good opportunities where the enemy makes the mistake. Like you don't want to be really proactive in those games if there's 5 tier 10 or 11 BBs in the enemy team. Like you don't, and like crazy DPM tier 10 cruisers or some shit, or smoke tier 10 cruisers. You just want to bide your time, keep yourself alive with the utility, and maybe focus more on like raiding a DD and killing that, and just playing it more safe. That's about it. What you want to do. But yeah, in those matchmakings in general, I'm suddenly the the little ugly goose or ugly little rat that is supposed to be a punching bag of the enemy BBs. And to be fair, super BBs have, for example, so much HP and so much armor, so much healing. Even if they're trolling, even if they're playing bad, fighting them in a Buffalo is still... I mean, I get a higher payoff now because of the reload buff, but it's still not a good fight. So, like, I don't know why I have to endure that. I don't know why we have to buff tier 9. Also, like, why do we have to release either the tier 9s they release are completely useless and shit. Because, I don't know, they don't plan on selling them through the idea that it's broken and it can up tier really well and smash tier 7s. or it's exactly completely broken because you can up tier value very well. So like you have a Los Andes or you have a Valparaiso now. Technically, even a Suzuya is kind of awkward because they just pumped a fuck ton of DPM onto that car. So at least you get the return. I mean, that's by the way a cruiser again. No armor, insane DPM. You get like a random reload booster on 155 mil Mogami gun. So like, why couldn't you give it armor that were like good gun angles? Like, why do I have shit gun angles, no armor, but I get really good DPM? It's just weird. Here you can also see again the Kearsarge that goes flat eating massive AP chunks. Like, it's insane. You can get 12, 13k AP hits when they're unsaturated. Later on the Musashi, same thing. Lots of AP, lots of HE damage. Like, the ship can just walk at battleships, and if they ignore you for just a slight bit and they don't immediately focus you down with their overmatch, you will be able to trade really well into them. But that's more down to the enemy BBs not angling properly, not focusing you right. Because look, I'm even spotted here. Why is the Musashi not shooting me? Obviously, I'm trying to keep the island in between. Here, once again, tier 8 cruiser, for example. There were no tier 7 cruisers, I think. Worst hull kind of in the game. Munchkin versus Buffalo AP. He's a goner. I think can't really play spotted open water with all guns on me ever. Like, I think you just one-shot it all the time. It's just dog shit. Same kind of design as all the other cruisers lately. Zero armor bullshit with funny plane drop gimmick and high DPM. 32 mil pen now. That's also something because the IFHE and the light cruiser pen is so fucked because of their dented IFHE rework ages ago that sucks cock, and you basically run IFHE on no cruiser at all anymore unless you have like specific tier 7 cruisers that you only run into tier 7, 6 matchmaking in ranked. Then you play IFHE. That's like the only reason. And the only other ship you would run IFHE on is like Schlieffen. And that's it. The skill is dead. I don't know. The funny thing is, a bunch of bot battleships take it, like the funny tower defense, tier 1, tier 2, or like 1.2 point skill row enjoyers, or just random BBs. Like they don't read. Like, that's how stupid they are. They don't even read the skill properly. They don't even try to understand what IFHE really does. They just see plus 25% penetration. Ooh, that must be good. More damage, more pen. That's good. And then you see like the two Yamados, Shikishima and a Monty in the same match running IFHE. Like what are you doing, sirs? Like, and then Wargaming looks at the data spreadsheet. By the way, that's exactly what's happening. And they're going like, yo, a lot of battleships are taking IFHE. Like, the skill is actually still used. And it's like, what? Just because of a, I don't know, just because of a fucking monkey throws shit at another monkey, and that's what they do. Like, I don't know. We don't have to draw the conclusion that throwing shit at each other is still a viable strategy. Like, it's a monkey. Like, he's gonna throw shit at the other monkey, and the other monkey will throw shit back. He's not gonna argue with him like humans do. So what the fuck? What is this data? Nah, like, IFHE is completely cooked. It's gone, dead, and also, like, as you saw, the light cruiser, the entire designs of cruisers is just this glass cannon type of approach. And if the glass cannon is not enough, they give it some sort of either gimmick to stay afloat longer, like a smoke, or they give it an airstrike, so you have more damage output while you're like basically afloat in Citadel. That gets overmatch clicked by everyone. Questionable. Anyways, we're nearing the end. Another good damage game. I don't think I get a Kraken here. No. I also get my Halsey proc only here, so this game was actually farmed without Halsey. Great damage. Great games. Very surprised how strong the ship is. Maybe if you want to, go out there, play it. If you have enough resources to move your Halsey and enjoy it a bit. Sometimes you get the tier 7 matchmaking, like here, where you can fist. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Just a very random tier 9 cruiser video. And yeah, I will see you on stream or for the next one. See you soon and adios.